Hi everyone, this is Suzette for Cloudy Sky today. Today I am doing a gardening project. I like to garden. I would like to do some more things where I grow my own food, but my problem is, those birds, squirrels, iguanas, especially the iguanas. So I like to put things in containers and then put deer netting around it. Now, to get ready for this project, I already had those bags, but they were not very thick. So I measured them out. They were 23 by 11, and I came up with an idea to put them in a box. I got some wood. I wanted a long piece in the back because this was already pre-cut wood. I have the three pieces for the sides and the middle. And then I got some pieces, five pieces for like the dividers. I also got some fasteners to fasten the wood together. After getting all my supplies from the big box store, you see there's in my bag. I got one of them from outside, emptied out, brought it inside so I can use it to measure, make sure it fits. I lay down a black contractor plastic bag so I can use that. There's my little plan where, I redrew it real quick based on the available wood that was there and also based on the other plan that I had that it would fit. I'm laying down the wood right there. I'm adjusting so that you can see the wood. Now, this actually took me about an hour, this first part. So, so you can get an idea how I did it, I sped it up a little bit, and hence why I'm doing the voiceover. But there I am laying down the back piece, like I said, and I lay down the three pieces for the sides and the middle. And then in the background, you can see those. I only use four of those. Those are my divider pieces. And that way I can have it that 23 by 11 or, even 24 by 12. So that way I can put the bags in there. After getting this open, I'm going to put it in. And trust me, if you had seen this in real time, I struggle with opening those little tie things. And actually, those pieces are exactly the length I want. They're exactly 24, 2 feet. And I put the thing in and I realized, oh wow, one side is definitely way bigger than the other side, and it was supposed to be half. So something is not gonna be joined together. So what I'm doing here is checking the dimensions, and I realize that I'm gonna have a gap. And there it is. So the piece that I got that was 48 inches is too short. At first I couldn't figure out why, but then I do have a middle piece of wood that I did not take in account the thickness of the wood. So that impacted how much, well, yeah, the thickness of the wood definitely is an impact on the measurement. So yes, my paper was 2D, but I did not take into account the 3D of the real world. So I got the length and the width, but I forgot the depth. So hence I ended up with a little gap in between. One other thing that I learned real quick, in addition to this depth thing, is about brackets. Yes, brackets. See, I bought hinges and screw. Another thing that this depth thing, the third thing that this depth thing messed me up with is that I picked up the hinges and the screws before I picked up the wood. Those screws would have never have made it into that wood. They were way too small. because I didn't take the thickness or the depth of the wood. As you can see, it took me what, half an hour just to get this thing laid out the way I want it to lay out before I started working with a hinge. Now I have a little drill, I have a awl, I have a screwdriver, and that's what I mainly worked with to get the hinges on. And later on in part 2, you see I switched from hinges and ordered some brackets and finish up with brackets. I also have a stapler, one of those upshot or whatever you call it, that I thought would have worked. Till I tried picking up the frame and it pretty much fell apart where it wasn't fastened with a hinge on later a bracket. So that definitely did help. Now there's my little feet. Yes, I'm going to work on the ground. I take my shoes off and I'm inside. I had to grab my tape measure just to make sure everything, and of course adjust the camera, so that way I can share what I'm fully doing. Sometimes when I've been doing camera, trying to do stuff on the camera, I have not shown what I'm showing. So here I'm actually showing a lot of my skinny ass legs. But yeah, I used the regular webcam. I had it on a little tripod and then I tried to point it in the direction I wanted to go. I have to say, not my finest moment. Now, what exactly I'm doing there, I remember several things, not being able to find certain stuff like my tape measure. But here, see, there I am with the tape measure. I'm just double checking. Not that I'm cutting anything, they always say measure twice, cut once. But, I'm about to put on fasteners, so I am measuring again before I fasten. And adjusting as needed, just to make sure I have enough space to, once I put in the fastener, the bags will fit. I try to make the internal, between the two dividers, 12 inches, even though the bag, when I measured it, was 11. But just to give it space to put the bag. I don't mind if it flops a little bit on the edge. It's just I didn't want the dirt flopping out. At least it had some kind of structure to hold it up. Now I'm putting on the hinges. In addition to the hinges, I actually finish up this project by doing a little bit of stapling. I made sure those two corners, the corners, well, the corners that did meet, met nicely. I put the hinge on the outside. So there I am with the hinge. When technically I think brackets would have been better because it's not a door. I'm not trying to open it afterwards. I just want it to stay. I just want the corner to be joined. So I think in the future, if I ever build one of these again, I know to use brackets. And take into account the depth, because then that does throw off measurements, what your, I don't know what you call it, your baseboard is, and then what all the other ones run off. I guess that's what I want to call it. So I'm using my little flimsy tools And I'm not sure I would change my tools because how often am I going to do this? I might not never build another one of these till a couple of years in the future when this one rots and disintegrates. So I actually put a hinge on the outside of that. So there's my little drill. I did it for a couple of years. Not that that really matters, but I mean, it was hard working with that wood because of the thickness. But at the same time, I wanted something that would hold up, for a little bit when I start growing some tomatoes and stuff like that. Just to give you an idea, once I paint it and put it outside, I am going to put some poles around it. When I mean poles, they have these green, um, I don't know what you call it. Yeah, poles. Green poles that go up towards the sky, and then I can put deer netting around it. I'm gonna put a sprinkler inside of it so I don't have to go in there too often, and then that way I run the water that way. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time.